The My Point by Vio3d, which is awesome because that means that I get to keep vaping on the Hellfire Dripper while I talk about the My Point. So, yeah. The My Point by Vio3d. So Vio3d is the maker of the Avis, which is a really nice, very small, diameter-wise atomizer that packs quite a bit of punch. It's really, I think they look really nice on pipe mods, especially the E-pipe mods, because it's the same diameter as an Ego, and that has an Ego connection on it. He now has this new device called the My Point, which is a touch mod. And my experience with touch switch mods has not been great. I have, I had a Wizard's Apprentice, I had a Wizard, both of which I didn't have the best luck with, and I kept seeing, if you have dry hands, then, it may not fire properly, and blah, blah, blah. That may be the case, and I don't mean to knock Mark Bugs, because I think he makes beautiful products, but every single one of my friends that tried to use the device apparently has dry hands because they all have the same issues with it. So that was my concern when I got this device, is the touch switch going to fire every time? Is it going to be one of these finicky things where I have to lick my thumb or lick my finger to get it to fire or whatever? I'll get to that in a moment with the answer for you. So, the My Point, it's 139 euro, plus shipping, 10 euros for European shipping. For registered express, it's another 25 euro. So, you're looking at 165 if you're in the US, 149 euro if you're in Europe. And it's also sent registered with tracking number and blah, blah, blah. So you can get it in 3 different combinations. You can get it in full stainless steel, full brass. You can get it with a mix of the brass and stainless steel. Also, if you get stainless steel, a stainless steel lock ring on it, you can get that gold-plated. You can also get custom engravings on it, and this is not additional. The custom engravings are part of the deal with this mod, so they're a little bit slower to produce because he does custom engravings on them. But and I think he's engraving these by hand. So pretty much any image that can be changed into a vector image, you can have turned into an engraving on the device. And I'll show you the engravings that I got, my super nerdy engravings here in just a moment. Only on the stainless steel tube you can get the engraving gold-plated. So I got 2 tubes. I got an 18500 and an 18650, both with the same engraving, but I got them in different finishes. I got one with stainless steel with gold plating, and then the other one I got in brass. So I'll show you those here in just a minute. The touch switch on it is pretty advanced. It has no limitations, basically. The amp limit on it is astronomically high. I don't even know what the number is, but it's an absurd amount. You can put a low ohm dual coil on here without a problem if you wanted to. And it's got short protection for hard shorts, and it's also got protection for reverse polarity, so if you put the battery in backwards, it's not going to harm the switch either. And it's very, very compact switch, despite having all of these features. We'll talk about that here in a little moment, too. The contacts and the spring are all gold-plated. Does work with the kick. It's got a standard 510 connection on it. Yeah, so that's the specs. Let's take a look at the device. So what I'm going to show you real quick is actually the one that isn't on top of the Or that doesn't have the Hellfire on top of it, sorry.
Ooh.
So, hold on a sec. So here's the device. It's 20mm, like I said, so it looks good with 20mm devices. It has a lock ring on it that's a really interesting design. So there's the touch switch. You can see right there. The lock ring is this little ring right here that you just slide like so right across the switch to block the switch from you touching it by accident. And then you can just turn it back around. I'm trying to do it without looking at it. There we go. So just turn it back around and line it up like so, and now it's open. So it's a nice little switch design there and a nice little lock ring. You can have the serial number on it engraved visibly, or you can have the serial number hidden by the lock ring. And as you can see, the serial number on this one is underneath the lock ring. Come on, there you go. So there's a serial on that guy. And the other one that I have also has the serial number under there as well. So now the custom engraving that I have done on this is some of you saw this on the show before, but I'll show this to you again so you can see. For those of you who know what that is, then you're great big nerds like I am. But what that is, for those who do not know, is that's the inscription from the One Ring from Lord of the Rings. Yeah, it's true. I'm a dork. So, inside... Yeah, I know. So, inside, this is the gold-plated spring on the inside of the bottom cap. Alright? Very, very fine threading on this guy. They're very smooth, but very, very fine. Now, this is actually pretty interesting. One of the nice things about the inside of this guy is, even though it's got an electronic switch, and even though it has, it doesn't technically have an adjustable positive connection. What it does have is the way that he designed it, and the way that he, I guess the way the silicone fill works is set up inside the switch. The positive connection actually has about I think it's about 1.3 millimeters, he said, of give. So you can actually, you don't want to screw an atomizer down as hard as you can. That's, you're going to damage any device if you do that. But you can screw most stuff down all the way flush because of the fact that it has that little bit of give to it. It's just enough that you can screw pretty much any atomizer down so that it sits flush on the device, which is nice. So, you don't want to screw it down to the point where, it's got, you got a lot of tension and you keep going. You're going to damage the device, get a hard short, something like that. But it does have that little bit of give to it. So it's essentially slightly adjustable, I guess you could say. It also has, like I said, it has gold-plated contacts that, like you saw on the inside of that 510 connection. This is gold-plated on the other side as well. So that's nice. So it's got that going for it now, which is nice. And the thing that impressed me the most about this device, this is what I kind of hinted at earlier, is this. Every time. It works every time. I don't have to press it hard. I don't have to lick my finger. It just works. In fact, it works so well that I find myself, if I forget to hit the lock ring, sometimes I'll go to like put it in my pocket and I'll hit the thing with my thumb as it's going into the pocket, and I'll hear a little sizzle real quick before I drop it in there and remind myself I need to switch the lock ring. So Um, so let's talk about the pros and cons of the device. Pros. It hits hard, surprisingly hard. It hits as hard as the mechanical mods that I use. Was not expecting that from a device with an electronic switch. The voltage drop, I didn't measure it, but I had the Hellfire on top of another mod before that was performing extremely well, and it hits exactly the same on the MyPoint, just as hard. Actually, I think I had it on the, was it the Lux? Maybe the Pabst Lux? I don't remember. It doesn't matter, though. It works really well. It hits hard. It does not have the issues that I have had with other devices that have electronic switches in it. Even really high-end devices that supposedly have fantastic electronic switches. I've always had issues with, I have the exact same setup on that device as another device. It doesn't hit as hard. What the hell? This is not a problem with this guy. I'm gonna drip a little more here. Hold on a sec. I think it looks awesome. The fact that he does custom engravings for every one of these things, I mean, you can get one quicker if you want one with one of the, like he has some that are pre-engraved, you can get it not engraved, and I think that you probably wouldn't have to wait as long. But the fact that you can get custom engravings on these and actually, I mean, you're basically on a list for a one-of-a-kind mod when you get one of these. It's the same thing with the Avis. I think that's really, really cool. Like I said, it looks fantastic. You've got a lot of options if you prefer stainless. If you prefer brass, you can add some gold accents to it to really get a look that you want. It's 20 millimeter. Now that can be a pro or a con depending on the person. If all you have is 22 millimeter atomizers, then maybe that's not right for you. If you have some 19s and 18s and 20s and smaller, maybe even 16, 17 millimeter atomizers that aren't going to hang over the edge, although some people don't care about that. I'm kind of anal about that personally. Then awesome. The only negative that I have found with the device is I did notice from use that the gold plating, I don't know if you can see this, but the gold plating right next to the, come on baby, zoom in so that I don't have to use my, turn off my autofocus. Come on, work with me here. Please, for the love of God, camera. Jesus Christ. Hold on. This device is called the MyPoint by Vio3d. Abstemious. So, now that we've turned that off, it's called the MyPoint. MyPoint. So, if you look real closely here, you can see just on the one side there, if you look at the lock ring, the gold plating is starting to wear off a little bit where my thumb hits it all the time. So I think maybe the gold plating on it is a very, very thin, extremely thin layer. So I do find that the gold plating is starting to wear off where I'm touching it all the time, which is right where the switch is. It's not coming off on the engravings or anywhere else on the lock switch, but right there where my finger is rubbing up against it all the time, I did notice that the gold plating started to wear off a little bit. So that's a little disappointing. I'm sure that I could get that fixed pretty easily, but I wish that the gold plating were a little bit heavier. Other than that, and other than personal preference stuff, if you if you prefer a 22 millimeter mod rather than a 20 millimeter mod, this thing is fantastic. It performs phenomenal. It's for a especially for a touch switch, absolutely caught me off guard with how well this device performs. So very, very pleased with it. So yeah, I mean, as you can see, it hits great, hits every time. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Pinky up on this guy. Pinky up. There we go. So that's the My Point by Vio3d. Definitely recommend it. It's really, really nice. I know he did a limited batch, but he seems to be cranking through them pretty quickly, especially since he's doing these all custom, and I think he does them all by hand on a lathe. So hopefully he'll do another list, and you'll have a shot at getting one, because it really is a device worth having. I love the touch switch on it; it's great. So there you have it, the My Point from Vio3d.